So the power is out, and you got to move some liquids, okay? There's no pumps, there's no nothing, and you got to move some stuff out of maybe a 50-gallon drum of kerosene or something like that. How are you going to do that? Well, today I'm going to show you a product that makes it very, very easy. It's very inexpensive, and this is the VEVOR Rotary Barrel Pump Hand Crank. This has a 5-gallon per minute flow. Let's check it out. All right, folks, welcome back. So this kind of, when I started moving my my fuels and liquids to larger containers, I started thinking about, even though it does have a handy pour spout on it, it's going to be tough to pour out that first couple of gallons. And I was thinking about some way to move it, and I thought, well, an industrial hand pump might be the way to do it. Now, I want to start the video off by telling you this is not for water. You will seize this thing up and rust it. This is all steel inside, all bare steel. This thing is heavy, okay? The pipes and all this stuff will be fine, but the pump will seize up. You don't want to use water in this. They say not to use gasoline either, and I probably wouldn't, being that it's all steel inside and there's a chance for a spark and you don't want to mess with that. However, moving kerosene, moving Coleman fuel, things like that, I'd have no problem with it. Now, of course, I don't have a 50-gallon drum of Coleman fuel or kerosene, but I do have those little 5-gallon containers, and that's how we're going to test it. And that's how I've set it up here. You'll notice it's a little bit shorter. However, if you do have a 50-gallon drum of oil or whatever and you have to move it, you do have this tube all the way there. So these just screw in together, okay? There's a little protector on the end of the bottom here, and that will keep it from picking up any kind of sediment in the bottom within reasonable amounts. This piece would just screw in here. You'd move this piece up to the top here and screw it into your barrel, and this will fit on a barrel perfectly. Probably won't fit on my little kerosene jug, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't need to worry about that. So I am going to demo it using the kerosene because it's the least flammable liquids, and I'm going to show you what it looks like and how it works. This thing puts out a lot of volume, so if you've got a 5-gallon jug, it's going to put out quite a bit. Give you a little information on it, okay? This is a very simple thing to use. It's a rotary hand crank. You can have your liquids transferred before you know it. You don't have to worry about sizes. This sports a 2-inch NPT universal threading and a 3-section tube, which we showed you before. The outer diameter on that's 1.2 inches. The total length is 39.8 inches. So whether you got a 5-gallon drum or a whopping 55-gallon drum, they got you covered. This thing is really strong, okay? Let me tell you. This thing will pump pretty much anything. It will, if you drop it, it doesn't care. It's just a beast. This is just a heavy hunk of metal. And inside in there, which you probably can't see, is where all the action takes place. It is just painted red. The paint will come off, of course. No big deal. Now, it does come with some Teflon plumber's tape, as I like to call it, but it's Teflon tape. So if you have any leaks going on there, you can prevent that by sticking that on there. Okay, and you do have a little downspout here, which we'll probably be using because I want to make sure I direct that stuff in the correct area, so that can go over there. And if you're worried about it staying on, they even give you a hose clamp, which we will put on. So what I want to do is show you how this thing works. I'm going to try and put it into another container so I don't make a mess. I want to show you how this thing works. We're going to check it out with some kerosene. I'll bring you right back. Now, of course, I don't have this set up in the most perfect of positions, but I did want to demo it with something a little bit smaller and a little bit safer. I will note there was some rust in there, so when I started pumping this out, my clear kerosene was coming out a little rusty, and we did dump that. We ran it a couple times. Might still be a little cloudy, but once you get going after a while, it'll go away. So, let's pump it up. See what happens. I'll bring it up. A little tricky there. And of course, it'll work better at a big pump. There we go. And there you go. So now you're starting to see how it works. And it is coming out clearer now. It was really bad before. It was kind of rusted, but that is much clearer than it was. So you do want to break this in with something you may not care about. And I would think for my purposes here, I may find a way to fit an adapter over this and screw it down. But it certainly is a whole lot easier than tipping this and spilling it everywhere. I mean, for me to just have to do this and just pump it around a little, really not bad. And look how much I'm getting now. I got 2 cups already just with a couple of turns. So definitely a cool item. So let's clean this mess up, and I'll give you some information on where you can pick it up, and I got a discount code for you too. So maybe while not the best demonstration of how it would work on a smaller can, they definitely will work for something bigger. And if you have a lot of fuels to move, and the reason I got this is just for that reason. You know, somebody may bring me a 55-gallon drum of motor oil or a 55-gallon drum of something that I need to pump. And that will make life so easy. Again, you see why you wouldn't want to use it with water. It already had a little rust in it just from transport. And once we did that through a few times, the first couple of cups of the kerosene was bad. You know, it was not bad, but rusty. And I wouldn't want to put that in a stove or a lantern or anything like that. So, of course, we threw that out. But after that, and when I did it again off camera, came out perfectly clear. So you definitely want to keep it lubricated. You don't want to store this in a very wet environment. You don't want to use water through it. This is not a water pump. It is a pump for fluids. Now, it does say not to use gasoline, like we said before, and you definitely don't want to do that. You know, one little spark and everything could pop. But this is the information here on it. Has all your info here. They do make a plastic one as well for water, okay? They do make a water pump version of this as well, and well pumps and stuff like that. The length on this is 50 inches all the way across with that bottom piece attached. All the way down would be 50 inches, 50.4 to be exact, okay? The weight on it's 10 pounds, 2 ounces. Okay, outside buffer diameter is a 1 inch by 25 millimeter threads, and the extraction method, of course, is pure hand. You're going to pump it this way. There's the arrow. Turn it this way, and it will pump that stuff up real easy. So for anything other than gasoline and water, awesome choice. They do make a ton of others as well, and I do have a discount code, which is VVPROMO, down there that will save you 5% off on anything on the site. So if you don't like this and you think, I don't need that, but what about that? You can use the promo code there. Anyway, I will leave a link to it down below. It runs $40.99. Pretty darn good deal for a pump like that. If you feel the thing, you'll realize this thing's built like a tank. So $40.99, get yourself a decent hand crank pump for any of your larger and more industrial type fuels or things like that, and you will be very happy later on. Trust me, trying to tip over a 55-gallon drum of anything is not fun just to get a cup out. So that's the video for today. Hope you guys liked it. Like I said, I have the video, I have the link down below for it and the code down below for all of VEVOR. Anything you want off of VEVOR, you can get there. Below that is our Amazon affiliate store. If you don't feel like buying anything in the store, just click that link and shop as you normally would on Amazon. We really appreciate when you guys do that. We have our freeze-dried wholesaler link. Don't forget, we got our drawing coming up for those gift certificates, and the link down there will save you 15%. Below that, our My Patriot Supply link. That's preparewithiridium.com. Remember, they don't just make food. There's a ton of other gear on that site. Just click on that My Patriot Supply logo on the left-hand side on the top of the page. And below that, our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. I thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Stay safe and stay prepared.